Alright, folks, and welcome back to the channel. We're here to discuss yesterday's game when it finished. Celtic 1, St Mirren 0 at Celtic Park as we get the 3 points on the board. I'm joined by Alistair. The 3 points from Alistair was probably the only positive of yesterday's performance because we kind of get treated to the same old stuff that we've been treated to this season, to be honest.
I'll be honest with you, Josh. Honestly, I I go about expect this team now. This is what it's going to be like the last 5 games. Sorry if people don't want to hear that, but it is because this team are not capable of swashbuckling, never born Glasgow Celtic, as Tony Haggerty would say.
No, I'd love to actually know what the opposite of that is because that's probably what Celtic are capable. Celtic remind me, and you talk about this is how it's probably going to be. You're right. It is going to be like that. It reminds me of a drunk trying to stumble his way home after a night out, and I think
You
that's what
got
Celtic
the
were.
personal experience here, by any chance?
I don't get. I know I've never been that drunk where I've lost where I am, to be honest, but. That's what it is. That's what it sounds to me. It looks to me with Celtic this season. It looks like somebody trying to stumble their way maybe to a league title, or maybe a Scottish Cup. But we're obviously stumbling at the end of the season. We are getting the results, which is, I guess people will say that's the main thing, of course, and it is the main thing. But the questions are, I mean, you're losing your mind sometimes, especially yesterday. Celtic Park it should have been so much more comfortable, especially with the early goal. But I
I
mean,
mean, I'm not going to lie, Josh. For the first 20 minutes, I turned to you and I went, this isn't actually
huh?
that bad. But then it went, after the goal, and this is a trend, after the goal, we always seem to kind of do alright, try and get the second goal, but if we don't get it, it turns into a slog.
Aye, no, because I'm just saying it's been the same story all season. It's either first half will maybe play decent and spell, and then the second half is horrendous, which it was yesterday again, or vice versa. We play well the second half, but the first half's pretty terrible. We go the early goal, and you're thinking right, push home the advantage, get the second goal, make it comfortable, and then we can kind of take it from there. But the minute it went 1-0, St Mirren get confidence for it. And then in the second half, they come into the game and you're hanging on.
Aye, mate, I mean, let's no make it was chance after chance for
No,
some them, but let's be honest, we gave them a lot of territory, and when you do that, all it takes is a lucky break, and you're fucked,
a
basically.
better the way I look at it, a better side, maybe a side in the split, or maybe they'll punish that if you give them territory.
Aye,
So I think we were kind of let off the hook a bit. St Mirren haven't been too great this season, and I don't think they were great yesterday either, especially kind of in the attacking areas. But a better team in the split is going to punish that, and that's what I'm looking at it from. But the goal obviously came for Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. As I say, it came in that spell where we actually started pretty well, and you'd say, right, no, we deserved the goal. Let's try and push on. It just it's I don't get why we didn't push on for there. I don't know what it is. I genuinely don't know what it is with this team.
it's
You got the crowd, you got the crowd up. The Green Brigade were back, and the crowd was good. It was a bit
I'll
of
just
atmosphere.
say in general, the crowd was good yesterday, I felt. Especially understanding in the second half. They never really got in the team's back. I'm a bit of imagined that. They never really did.
And they got the teams back, obviously, but the second half, at the end of the day, fans can only, you're not going to have fans applauding when St Mirren are on the ball, and you're going to get frustrated. But I think they had an opportunity. That's what I'm saying. After the first goal, to keep the fans kind of, the atmosphere going, but they didn't do it, and it just kind of fell flat. And it's for me, it was symbolic of this season. It's at times, they're really good, and then at times they just fall so flat.
Definitely. And can I ask a question, John? Is it time we look at the balance in midfield? Because I personally, and I said this to you even before the game kicked off yesterday, I don't like that midfield three as it is. I, I know Engels is back, and I understood why he was in the bench, but I personally don't like that midfield, and I really think we need to have a word. I'm not picking one particular guy, but we need to discuss Cal McGregor's form because it's been absolutely
Oh, it's
eclipsed.
been, it has been. I said months ago that I thought even, um, even in Martin's first spell at the club, I says, this season, I thought that the balance of the mid, they weren't getting the balance of the midfield right. Um, and it was they were, I don't want to say tactically naive, but they weren't. I was expecting to see a bit of change in the midfield because I don't think it's worked all season.
No,
Honestly, I think we're too easy to get at. There's no, grit in the midfield. Negrin, he's not a guy that's going to run back and forward into attacking defensive areas. Oxley Chamberlain, I'm not saying he's a bad player, decent enough, scored the goal yesterday, but he's not got the legs to run back and forward.
there's no legs in that midfield, and that's
Cal McGregor, you would expect Cal McGregor to do it, but as you were saying, his form, all season, in my opinion, has been horrendous. And I know we don't want to, and I was on the game, I was talking, I was saying, we need to drop Cal McGregor, and he's like, and I was talking to him, I was talking to Nathan about it, and he was like, oh, you can't, it's McGregor, and I'm like, but this is the problem. He's not playing well, and I get that it's the whole leadership thing, but he's not delivering on the park, and that's the main thing. That is the main thing. You need to, and I like Callum McGregor. We all do. I'm not trying to, completely turn it on Callum, but you need to admit when a player has not been good enough, and he hasn't been good enough.
it's very like Scott Brown's last
That is,
season.
that is,
It's
that's exactly what
exactly
it is.
it's exactly the same, and, and I don't want to die wondering. And when I say die, I mean Celtic's league title chances. I would I would change it because see if see if we don't, it's not going to work because Hearts and Rangers are the two main games coming up, and we need legs in that midfield because they'll just bypass us, and that's the
Teams have done it all season. In the games that you'd expect Callum McGregor to turn up, your Rangers games and your the games, let's say, against Hearts, he's not turned up.
and I would love to run those words
Of
through my
course.
thought, but it's not happening.
But we've said that a lot about a lot of players. I'd love them to prove me wrong, but they don't. We've said that about centre forwards. We're going at them in a second because, Christ.
No,
But
we've
I
not
mean,
got a centre forward, let's be real.
I like Callum McGregor, and that I'm not. That's no. I don't think anybody's saying that they've completely turned on the guy and he's fine. As I said, I hope he can, but he just looks. He's missing that. He's missing, and he's probably burnt out.
Aye.
There becomes a point where your legs just give up, and then we at that point, near enough.
Looks
It looks
like
like.
it. Looks like it.
Now, I don't know if next season, say he does stay and we get a new manager and he can rejuvenate him and whatever else, similar to what Rodgers done with Scott Brown.
But
What Brendan Rodgers done it. Brown was legs looked gone even under Dyler, but Rodgers came in and we might get that with Cal McGregor. I hope so, but we're playing Cal McGregor as a central defensive midfielder, as the kind of
he's never
shield between.
been a central defensive
Aye,
midfielder.
Scott Brown. The reason Scott Brown was able to play into his kind of his 30, late 30s, right, and play at a decent level for us was the fact that he was always hanging me out as that kind of anchor of midfield. He was fine to just sit there and dictate the play. That Cal McGregor he's not got that. He's not got the kind of grit and all that and the tackling that Brown had. Cal McGregor's a mere kind of Cal McGregor relies on his legs, and once they go, that's what we're seeing.
Do you know what every manager has tried to do in they've tried to turn Cal McGregor into Scott Brown, and he's
Aye.
he's never been that kind of player.
No, I know, and I think that's what's happened. They're trying, and then because he's not got the legs, players are running through the midfield and then they're straight on at the defence, and that's the problem. And so the thing is, I also think Negrin. I don't think we're trying to play him as something he's not. As well, I could be wrong on that. He's trying to play something he's not. You know, we're trying to play him as. I don't know what he is, to be honest with you. But he's no certainly not a central midfielder.
Here's my opinion, right? See if Benjamin Negrin's a box player, why not play him up front? Because he's the only one that can sniff out goals. He's not got the legs to run in a midfield. So keep him out of him road and play somebody with legs in there.
I just look at it and go that why not give him a role where you say he's like a number 10 or a central attacking
And
midfielder
even
and
a
say,
free roll, you go where you want and cause
aye,
havoc.
and you go to like play, you find the spaces where it's going to, because that's what he's been good at, finding the spaces, getting the right areas to get the goals. I know we always like to have a laugh and a joke, or how is he always there? That takes skill. And I'm not going to do him a disservice. That takes ability, that takes skill to be there. So I think if we could maybe use him as in a freer role, I don't know, but the midfield balance does need a look. I've said for months that I just think it needs. We have obviously got Arne Engels he come on for.
I thought he saved the game, to be honest. Just with a bit of legs in there.
It was a bit of legs, had a bit of pace. I think he made a tackle. He kind of ran across the park, made a tackle, got the ball, and that's what I'm missing. Arne Engels, I'm not saying that Arne Engels has got to come into a squad and everything's got to be wonderful again, but I'm sorry, he's better, and especially in that midfield area. When it comes to legs, he's the best we've got. If he's like it or not.
And to be fair, and this is where I'm going to blow smoke up the Earth podcast. We've always been big Arne Engels fans, always, even when we're told what is it he does. That's what he does. You know what they say, Joy? You don't know what you've got till it's gone and it's not there. And I think people are starting to realise how good Arne Engels is, but how important it is to our team, because when it's not there, you notice it.
Especially as I said, when we talked about legs, he's got legs, so he has got to be important. It's good, obviously, to have him back. Before we kind of wrap it up, I want to obviously have the other thing it was good to have back was the Green Brigade. I kept meaning to discuss it last week, but I just couldn't get the time to actually come on. But the Green Brigade were back. The club have finally seen a bit of sense. So it was good to also have them back. I thought it was quite funny at the end of the game that they still unveiled their banners saying the board are not fit for purpose. So,
wrong.
Aye, but my fear was if we get let in, were they going to just not behave themselves, but pander to the board? But obviously not.
I think they got the balance right. That when the game was on, focusing the team and do that at the end. I thought that was perfectly fine. If you want my personal opinion.
No, I think. Well, I know the collective put something out how they're kind of. We'll wait to the end of the season and see, because, as I says, as long as nobody forgets about the problems at this club, no matter if we win the league or not, I've not got an issue when we do it. I just look at it and go, as long as you don't forget the issues.
Anybody's going to forget all the problems, self-made problems that this board have caused, Joy.
Aye.
I really don't.
No, but it was good to have them back, and as I said, at the end of the day, if people like it or not, they're the only ones that
better.
Aye, in my opinion, the only ones that create any sort of atmosphere, and people might not like that statement, but it is a fact.
You need to be blind.
Because every time I know there, Celtic Park is, it's silent.
I mean, if they weren't there yesterday, can you imagine it? Oh.
So it was good to have them back. We need it, as I said, we need everything for the kind of running. And I hope kind of players and managers and we can all kind of buy and hopefully try and obviously put together a run in these last kind of 5-6 games, whatever it is.
5 now.
5 is it? But no, we're still obviously in third because Hearts and Rangers both won their games as well. So
Only for the second time this season, by the way.
is
So,
it actually?
only because I think the last game was, I think it might have been the Levy weekend under Nancy. I think that was the only other time this
Hearts not dropped points that weekend. I'm pretty sure Hearts dropped points that weekend, and that we kind
so,
of made up
the
ground. I'm
Habs
pretty.
guy, you might be right.
I think Hibs beat them. I'm
I
pretty
don't,
sure.
I don't, but I do know it was only once till this weekend. I did go back and Google
Aye.
where I actually
But
went.
no, when as you were basically going into, and this is what this title race is going to be. I think it's just going to be. I think the team who slip up first, I think could be pretty telling, to be honest. But
I think the team that slip up first can forget it.
aye, pretty much. I think every kind of team. Maybe I don't know about Hearts, but especially in a Celtic Rangers context, I think if Celtic or Rangers slip up wins, I think that's whatever team's at the kind of title race. But to finish up, I'm going to ask you your man of the match. I mean, you'll be spoilt for choice, but who would you
Well,
get to?
I'm actually gonna go for somebody that was I felt was really solid. I'm gonna give it to the Ox because it's the game changing moment and I thought it was nice and solid.
I'll, I mean, as I said, there's no much to pick from, but I'll get to Oxley Chamberlain. Just for the fact he scored the goal, and that was about it. That's kind of where we're at because I don't think there was anybody else that was really sticking out. But no, we got the 3 points. That's the main thing, and we just need to kind of keep on kind of moving.
Well, what would be good, Josh, before we finish, to be able to look for no relax because it's a cup game, but it'll be nice to go away for the week for a bit. I think.
Aye, but that I mean, we've got the cup up next against the same team, so let's hope we can get through to the final of the Scottish Cup, and then obviously after that deal with it. Obviously, the split fixtures where the season really that we get that is the business end of the season. But no, I'm going to wrap up there for today's video. We're back at some point through the week, probably building towards that cup semi final. But until next time, we'll speak to you later. And hail, hail.
Hail, hail.